If you've been sober for a year, 2 years, 3 years, or whatever, and they still don't trust you, it doesn't automatically mean that they hate you. And it doesn't mean that your sobriety does not matter. But it probably means one pattern is still showing up and you don't even realize it yet. In the next few minutes, I'm going to break down what that pattern usually is. It's crazy how we just can make some assumptions, right? We assume that just because we have time sober, people are going to start trusting us again. We got to remember that's not how it works. We believe because we're doing the work, we going to meetings, we got a sponsor, we're doing all this hard work to stay sober. And we have to realize it's not for them. And then we get frustrated when that trust don't come back. It don't move like we want it to move. Crazy thinking. And that logic is fair because we're moving a big stone, right, down the road, right? And it gets smaller and smaller as we go down the road. But that stone that we're pushing is for us, right? We got to remember that people have to recover too. But it does feel fair that we should believe this, but it's not actually logic. Trust actually runs on certain principles, right? It runs on predictability, emotional steadiness, repeated steady behavior, and safety has to be greater than your sobriety length. Now, what I'm gonna say about predictability is like we change our behaviors. Back in our madness, we didn't show up when we said we was going to show up. So on the other end of it, we show up when we say we're going to be somewhere, right? When somebody tells us, or we tell somebody we're going to call them at 5 o'clock, back in the day, we either did not call, or we called a few days later, or we called at 8 o'clock instead of the 5. Now today, we pick up the phone if we can, or we call them back immediately. We do what we say we're going to do. And we have some repeated behaviors sometimes we have to fix because we got to remember for a long time, our lives have been unmanageable. So we wasn't doing things and prioritizing our behavior to fit into other people's lives. We was doing things selfish and self-centeredly. So if it didn't benefit us, we did not do it. But now we're doing things to connect back with our family, friends, and our employer and stuff like that, right? So we have to start doing things differently. We have to do just the opposite of the things we used to do in the past. And these are some micro patterns that block trust. Inconsistent follow-up. I talked about this just a few seconds ago, about returning phone calls when you say you are. It might seem like something small, but it's a micro behavior that people will start trusting you because they see that you are reliable. The tone shift during questions. Like if somebody questions you about something that you did in your past or something that you're doing, right now, and your tone change, you get defensive and things like that. That's a micro behavior, but people are resistant. If you don't talk to them calmly or respond calmly or answer questions calmly, people get defensive. They don't want to talk to you. They don't want to ask no questions because you're always getting defensive. Emotional withdrawal. This is one of the biggest things that we have to keep an eye on. Back in our madness, we secluded ourselves from people. We emotionally withdrew from people. We didn't want to be around people. This is the biggest step that we have to do that I've noticed in recovery, that we have to start getting around people, right? The opposite of active addiction is recovery, right? And in active addiction, we secluded ourselves from people. In recovery, it's about community. It's about, being around our loved ones, our family, and our friends. So we have to shift that energy because by default, I don't want to go out, right? I don't want to go do this. I don't want to go do that. I want to stay to myself. And a lot of times, as you guys know, for us, that's a dangerous situation to be in because guess who we left alone with? We left alone with ourselves and we left alone with our own thoughts. And that's so dangerous. And one of the things that I know that we do a lot of, right? Because I used to do it myself, over-explaining, right? Over-explaining instead of listening would keep us stuck in most of our relationships because we're so default oriented to speaking out before a person actually finish saying what they have to say. So if we just listen, right, and listen, then respond, it makes conversations and relationships so much easier. Hard conversations are going to come up. People are going to ask you questions about things that you used to do or your actions that you've taken today, right? And if we emotionally shut down in the middle of a conversation, people are not going to want to conversate with you again. And these are some of the characteristics we have to develop so people can start wanting to bring us into their lives. We don't want somebody that's combative and they shut down in mid-conversation. We have to try to avoid doing that. But subconsciously, that's what we do. Being late is another thing, right? Being late for arrival, we need to start showing up early. These are behaviors and skills that we have to learn how to do, right? Missing calls. You missed a call, okay, you get busy, right? But make sure you call back immediately. And when you're on these phone calls, this is very important too as well. We don't want to get to like trauma dumping, how bad your day is. Sometimes the simple thing is ask a person how your day is going and sit back and just listen. Just ask them how they doing. Because today we're not selfish and self-centered. We're here to be grounded. We're here to help our family and friends and be there for them when they need us. Because sometimes people, just like ourselves, they just need somebody to talk to. Now the shift for us, we have to have more consistency, right? We can't just do something for a day or two, returning phone calls, sending texts, showing up for family gatherings. We have to do it on a consistent basis for a period of time. For each person, it's probably going to be different time frame. I know for me, it took probably a year before my family and friends started trusting me again. But over a consistent time, now I have family members calling me and asking me for advice. They ask me about like relationship advice, and at that time I wasn't even in a relationship. Especially I don't even have like experience dating or being in relationships while I was sober, but I had a clear mind and they trust my judgment because I showed a consistent basis. And this last part is probably going to be challenging for a lot of us. For me, it was being calm under pressure. Like when I feel pressure, like a person is interrogating me or just, asking me questions or inquisitive, I feel like I tensed up and I have to defend myself. And I had to practice just being calm under pressure. Sometimes you can say, yeah, I understand where you're coming from, but I'm getting better. We don't have to swing at every pitch that get thrown down the pipe, right? Let it go through. We ain't got to swing at everything, because if we swing at everything, guess what we're going to do? We're going to strike out. Now, the truth is, apologies don't move trust. Predictability does. Sobriety is the foundation, right? And patterns rebuild safety with our family and friends. So consistent patterns over a period of time will gain trust with your family and friends. Go into the 7-day trust repair plan that I created. Is free. The link is my bio, and get started there.